Some more light in here, eh? Let's see if this will work. There we go. Whew. What's going on here? Need the light right here. Give me a second. That's not good. Well, I want to fix this light here. I'm just gonna have to do. There we go. All right, that's better. Better. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Let me get on the computer so I can see things here, what's going on. Glasses. Notes. I actually have notes. John Davis, what's happening? Here's my notes. Let's see. Let me get this window going. Oops. Okay, here we go. Before I even go on, I got 3 thumbs downs. I love it. Any Hong Kong trips coming up? No, not in the near future. I don't think anything's going to happen in Hong Kong until at least next month. There might be some isolated incidents where you have to chase it down, but I don't think a whole lot's going on. From what all of my sources say, from everything I've read, from everything that I've heard. Let me see if I can do this here. Hang on. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't need this. I don't need these. Earpods. Because I can't hear anything. So yeah, I don't think I'll be going to Hong Kong. And it's good because I'm starting to get a little burnt out. I think the people there are a little bit burnt out. I think everybody needs a break. Yeah, but that they're gonna protest. They're gonna do sit down rallies, little sing-alongs and stuff like that. And that doesn't mean that they're going to get violent or anything is going to happen. They can sit down all they want. They can do all these things. It doesn't mean that something's going to happen. Once in a while, something will happen. The police will get a little aggressive. The protesters might throw something. But I don't think it's worth going there at this point and spending the money. I don't have the money to spend. And so I don't think I'll be going there. Now, if the situation... Hey, thanks a lot, Carl. There's more stuff coming. If the situation changes, then that's a different story. But right now, they're in the mode, and I was going to go over this, but, first, let's see here. I don't even have it in front of me because I'm on my phone. Let's see here. In Bangkok right now, it is 26 degrees Celsius. Is it? Is it 26? Well, it's 81 degrees Fahrenheit. It's 27 Celsius. Feels like 28. High of 32, low of 21. The weather is actually pretty nice here. It's not too bad. However, what is the air quality index? Bangkok, it's pretty bad right now. Let's see here. I think it's 150 something, if I remember correctly. I think it's 157. 161. So it's considered unhealthy. Humidity is 64%. Only wind is only 1 mile per hour, 1 kilometer per hour, rather. Yeah, so that's the weather. That's what's going on here. Let me see something here. Right now it is 30.2004 baht to the dollar, which is not good. I don't know when they're going to curb the strength of the baht, because I don't know that it's real. I don't know. I don't know enough about economics to make an educated guess, but I'll make a guess anyway, and I'm going to say no. The reality is it should be weaker. The dollar should be a little stronger. Maybe 30.5, 30.4, something like that. Who knows? But this has driven tourists away, and also it has driven expats away. Well, that's nothing. It was 54 when I first came here, or I was over here when it was 54. I hadn't been here long, but it was 54 to the dollar, which was pretty nice. So yeah, that's what's going on there. We're back in Bangkok. My mind is starting to get here again. It's catching up with the body. Before I get into anything else, of course, I've got to say thank you to Manscaped. Manscaped briefs, Manscaped lawnmower, where you have a nick your sack money back guarantee. Basically, it's a trimmer, a lawnmower, a shaver for down yonder. They have wonderful briefs that have literally saved my balls. I continue to say that because it is true. I have not had any chafing since I've been using these products, and they're wonderful. Got body wash, they got ball deodorant, ball freshener. What else? Oh, the foot fungus, the foot, I forget what it's called now. But anyway, it's for your feet. And if you use the code MALIN20, you get 20% off. So that's fantastic. And of course, I cannot forget the people who contribute through this channel on Super Chat and PayPal. And also the members of my website. And also Patreon. Thank you very much. All of you people who have made this channel possible, made some of my travels possible, because without you guys, I'd probably be sitting in front of the camera here just talking about rubbish. It would be much ado about nothing. Now, I have to say that, it's Christmas time, which I forgot about Thanksgiving, and I didn't even remember that it was Father's Day here. Father's Day is always on December 5th, which is King Bhumipan's birthday. And I used to remember it, but I don't remember it anymore. I tend to forget the holidays. Wednesday, yesterday, was a holiday here. The wife and kids were home. And then, Thanksgiving, forgot about Thanksgiving. Now, Christmas is coming. I asked the wife, you want to get a tree? No, don't want a tree. To be honest, it's been several years since we've really practiced Christmas, even here, just for the kids. Doing the presents and the Santa Claus stuff. Hey, Gennaro. How's it going? It's been a few years since they were 8, 9 years old since we did that. We've had the occasional tree here and there. Some years we just maybe exchange one gift. Everybody gets one gift from each person. The kids count as one. Um, so they give us one present. They give me one present. They give uh, their mother one present. And I don't think they give each other presents, but we give them something. Usually we give them one present or something like that. In the past, it was we'd load up underneath the Christmas tree. Now it hasn't been as important, and this is just how it is. And I've forgotten about most of the holidays, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I don't think it's that big of a deal to them. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I'd really like to get this or that," and we try to get it for them if we can. But one thing that I think about here is that this is predominantly a Buddhist country. So I know it's a stupid question because I already know the answer to it. But why are they bothering to practice Christmas? Now, if it were they wanted to be tolerant and giving and they wanted to practice Christmas and I would say, okay, it's a great thing. I will say that they do say Merry Christmas. They seem to be in the Christmas spirit. Every once in a while, people exchange gifts with each other. Yeah, okay. But the bottom line is, it's about the scratch. It's about the money. It's a commercial thing, just like anywhere else in the world now. Maybe even when I was a little kid, I just don't remember it. But when I was a little kid, it didn't seem to be so much about commercialism as it was about the spirit of Christmas. Um, Santa Claus, Rudolph, Frosty. Well, I will say that Thais do look for a reason to party. They're always looking to have a good time, and that is one wonderful aspect of the culture. They're always looking to have fun. Even when they're working, they're trying to have fun. They're always smiling. Well, not always, but many times they're smiling, they're laughing. And as they like to say, don't be too serious. I'm having a hot cocoa, which I know I shouldn't be having, but it's not as cold now, but when I first came back the other day, and in Hong Kong, it was chilly. And it was a little bit nippy here, so I was like, oh, well, yeah, got to have a little bit of hot cocoa. So I'm drinking some right now in the appropriate Switzerland cup. Yes. Fun is always a good thing. Now, speaking of fun, I want to get past Hong Kong for the time being because, for the past 2.5 months, I've been dwelling on Hong Kong. Everything's about Hong Kong. Not to forget it, but I have to move on and get on to the next project, my next ideas, and I need to get on with my life here because uh, what I've noticed is that every time I come back, now it's 4 times now I come back from Hong Kong, especially the first 2 times, and now this last time, not really the third time, it wasn't as bad, but I get a little down because I know about the situation there and I know it's not a good situation. You can paint it however you want. You can use whatever slogans you want. They can use whatever slogans they want. You can think about the U.S. Getting involved in using the Human Rights Act and all this kind of stuff. I don't know that it really matters all that much. I think that things are just going to keep on rolling, and there's going to be a lot of things that people don't like that are going on there, and I feel bad for the people there, especially the youth, the young people, the university students who they don't want to live under communist rule, But I have to say, I put up the stream the other day, the 5 hour stream, the last stream, which was the Human Rights Day. And at the end of the day, it was in the evening, I got into a argument with a guy. Well, yeah, no, it is a bargaining chip, but I don't know really how useful that chip is. I think it is a little useful, but I don't think it's like it's a game changer. I don't think it's going to change everything. Now, they supposedly have approved this Magnitsky Act, and also you have the Human Rights Act, which means that people who commit human rights violations, who have been deemed to commit human rights violations, supposedly could be banned from entering the United States, Canada, and Europe. So, and also in Europe, they just went through Europe, and supposedly that's happened, and so it makes it more difficult for people. But I'm sure there are workarounds. It's not the end of the world. They're not stupid. As much as we might want to think, oh, they're so brainwashed they can't think for themselves and all this other kind of garbage. That's bullshit. They know how to get around the system. They know what to do. I don't think it's going to make that, it's going to stop anything. But what I wanted to get into was, at the end of the stream, there was a guy there who was just standing there, and I thought he was from Hong Kong. He wasn't from Hong Kong. He was from Japan. And what he did was, and you can't really see it because the iPhone, which was streaming, which was on top of my phone, but he came up like, he put his hand up like this and started to grab the lens, and I pulled away and I was snapping shots, and he's saying, no photos, no photos. Well, you know, if it was one of the people in all black, I might have said, hey, listen, I'll take some shots with no faces or something like, I'll just take it of the umbrellas or whatever. If I really wanted the shots that bad, I would have worked around it and done something. I didn't really care because I've got 50 shots like that, and it wasn't all that important, but I just wanted to get another one just in case. Maybe I needed that shot. Maybe that shot was the keeper of all keepers. I don't know. But he basically put his hand in front and tried to push me away. Just a light push. It wasn't like he shoved me. And I said, hey, you know, don't fucking do that to me. And he got pissy about it and was like, no, you can't take photos. And I was going to crack him. I thought to myself, I can take this guy. I'll go for it. And I can, you know, I'm going to bash him. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to crack this guy, you know. And he stepped forward and he said a few things to me that weren't very nice. And I said, you know, I wasn't sure how old he was. It turned out he was about my age. He's a couple of years older, but he wasn't like 75 years old or anything like that. So, and he was very adamant about people not taking taking photos of the people that had the umbrellas around them. Now, there are hundreds of cameras in the area. There are also, the people that are there are also covered up by umbrellas so that they can protect their identity. Now, what really pisses me off, even to this day, is that the guy is a member of the media. He was Japanese. He was from Wasabi TV, and Wasabi TV is Japanese. Think about it. You know, sushi, wasabi. And, you know, like I said, I was pushed a couple of times when I was there. Really, one was nothing. This guy was at the point where I wanted to crack him, but I was thinking to myself, do I want to spend time in jail in Hong Kong? Because the chances are there are video cameras around, and I'm going to get in trouble. And not only that, he's a journalist. I'm a journalist. It doesn't look good to do that. So, you know, I kind of stepped away and I basically told him to fuck off, and he told me to fuck off. And I said, you know, you're lucky you're in Hong Kong, Because if he was in Thailand, I probably would have smacked him. I probably would have smacked him. I wouldn't have punched him. But anyway, violence is not always the answer. And in this case, it really wasn't the answer. But, and I know this firsthand because I've had this happen numerous times in public where people have said, don't take photos here. And they had no authority to tell me to not take photos. They weren't a security guard. They weren't a police officer. They were nobody, just like him. He's a reporter. Now, he's inserting himself into the mix. He's becoming a participant, siding with the protesters. Now, for the most part, I agree that the protesters are the ones who are fighting for what I believe in. But that has nothing to do with what I'm shooting. Because I shoot the police, I would talk to the police, I would talk to protesters. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to get the photos. That's it. I want to get a little bit of footage, and I want to get the photos. So the fact that he inserted himself in there and decided to tell me not to take photos. Okay, listen, if the kids had said to me, please, we don't want to take a chance, blah, 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 I would have been like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's not that important of a shot. Now, if it was an important shot, I would have stood up for myself and I said, no, I need to take the shots. But then I see him, he tells one kid, oh, no, 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 no. And the kid just goes like this, Sawadee Cup. And so then I see him, another kid, he's telling, no, go away. And I'm like, ugh. And I'm thinking, and I'm talking to him the whole time. I've walked away, and I've walked away, but I'm talking to V. You can hear it on there. I'm talking to him, and then I mute the thing because I want to say a few things to him, and I'm basically telling him that if he doesn't shut his fucking mouth, I'm gonna walk over there and beat the piss out of him, and that he should be ashamed of himself as a journalist. Because he's a journalist. He's not, and it's not like he's saving their lives. You don't know if you're saving their life or not. You don't know what's going on. He's not there to put himself in the mix. He's there in the mix he's the third party. He's a neutral party. Anyway, but then what happened was when I was coming back, there was another guy, and I have seen this guy for months. I know this guy I know him. He's an extremely experienced photographer. He knows what he's doing. And this guy is telling him, no, you gotta go. And then he starts screaming at him. And the guy's going, don't fucking yell at me. Don't yell at me. Stop yelling at me. Finally, he just left. He probably figured, it's like, listen, this shot was not anything that was, it wasn't like, there was a guy holding a gun up against somebody's head and, he's going to shoot him and it's going to make all the papers around the world. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a fact that this guy is a journalist telling people you can or cannot take shots. And a couple of kids came up and go, he's trying to be nice. No, he's not trying to be nice. That's the thing. He's trying to stick his beak in there. If you as a protester want to tell someone, please don't take photos, you need to do it. Don't expect the journalist to stand up for you. Because that's just flat out wrong. And so the more I think about it, the more pissed off I am about it. I don't like it when somebody does that. And, I had an incident, and V was there, and I forget, somebody else was with us. I can't remember who it was. I'm trying to think. Oh, I think it was this guy, Johan. I'm not sure. But there was some kid, I talked about this before. He wasn't a kid. He was 30 or something. I don't know. He was younger than me. But anyway, he's, no more chocolate. He's standing there selling stuff on, on the ground. He's got it on a blanket. And I noticed that some Filipino girl had been looking at me, staring at me. Not in a bad way, not in a good way. She was just kind of staring at me. And I was like, what's she staring at, But I was like, whatever. And then I see the guy with the stuff on the ground, and I had my camera up, my phone up, rather. I had my camera around my neck, I had my phone in my hand, and I'm looking at a video. Wasn't looking at anything else. Wasn't trying to take a shot. I didn't give a shit what he was doing. And he walked up to me and he said, no, you can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean I can't? What are you talking about? And I was like, immediately, I was like, get out of my face, man. Get out of my face. You don't have the right on a public sidewalk in front of an MTR station to tell someone they can't take a photo with their iPhone. And the reason was because he was selling stuff that probably it was illegal for him to sell stuff. So, you know, that first incident got me on. I ended up shoving the guy because I was like, I told him, please get out of my face, please get out of my face. And I was like, I'm not walking away from here. I'm standing here waiting for, I don't even remember what he was selling here. He's selling there. You know, I don't even remember. Maybe V remembers. Simon, maybe he remembers. I don't know. But I don't remember. And his buddy came up and tried to get him to walk away, and the guy kept yapping. And I was like, get the fuck away from me. And I shoved him. And I was waiting for him to come back because then I was going to crack him. I thought, I'm going to whack this guy. And I thought, oh, man. And then the police came. And the police told him, get out of here. We know what you're doing. Get out of here. You don't need to be, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be selling shit. So I wrecked his gig. But the fact was, I wasn't even photographing anything. I'm looking at a video. It was a video of footage that I had taken before of the police and protesters. I'm looking at this video. And he's telling me to get out of my face. Now, if I didn't stand up and I was just, I don't know, it's not in my nature just to go, oh, okay, sorry, buddy, I'm going to walk away. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything. Now, if he had a gun, I might have been like, yeah, okay. I might have asked him why. What's the problem? Now, maybe that would have been pushing it a little bit much, but in the end, I probably would have walked away because I don't want to get shot for that. But it didn't, what really got me about this other guy was that he was a reporter. There's no place for that. You're not going to see me standing up for somebody going, hey, buddy, leave him alone. And, I don't want to get involved. And maybe that's taking the easy way out. But I think that ethically, that's what you do. You are not supposed to involve yourself in their situation. So that, I want to make that clear. It wasn't that I was just being an asshole to the guy for nothing. Hey, Soy Dog Cowboy, how you doing? It wasn't because I was being an asshole for nothing. It was because this is a guy who is a member of the press, and he's telling people what they can and cannot shoot, and he has absolutely no right to do so. He has no authority. He can do whatever he wants, but he has no legal authority and no real right to be telling people what to shoot. And including myself, it was 4 people that he told, no, get out of here. You can't shoot this. And it's like, and then he came, to his credit, he came to me later in the stream. I said, I'm going to go to this pier. I'm going to check things out, and we're going to see what's going on down there because we heard there was, we saw on in one of the groups something was going on. So V and myself went down there. This other guy, Matt, went down there ahead of time. He started coming back, and he's like, I don't think anything's going on there. And I'm like, well, let me just go down a little bit farther, whatever. And I said, you know what, that's it. We're done streaming because I think everything's pretty much done for the night. And we did miss the 2 girls who came up and who were smashed that started talking to me and V and another guy. That was a bit, it was, the girl was drunk, but she started crying over what was happening in Hong Kong. I mean, literally crying, and I actually felt a little bad for her. But she was smashed, so I was like, all right, she probably wouldn't be quite this emotional about what was happening. But anyway, so that's when I shut off the stream. But that's why that happened. I don't want it to seem like, I'm going around starting trouble with people because, first of all, nobody should put their hands on your equipment or you. There's no reason for somebody to touch you or put your hands on your equipment, especially when all they want is for you to not, they want to ask a question of you. Would you please not photograph this? So the guy didn't, and I have a shot where his hand is in front of my camera like this, and he's reaching forward with it. So I wanted to make that clear because it's important to me, because I'm not going out of my way looking for trouble there, and I wasn't. And any time that something happened, it was always instigated by somebody else. Where I'm standing there, I'm minding my own freaking business and trying to do what I'm trying to do. I'm focused on what I'm doing, and it's like, hey, what? Hey, who the fuck are you? Get out of my face, buddy. I don't even know you. You have no authority here. You're nobody. So get out of my face. I don't need your shit. That's the way I was thinking. The guy came over after the stream ended. He came over and tried to explain everything to me. And both V and I were kind of still telling him, hey, buddy, you don't have the right to do that, and it's not for you to say this and blah, blah. I know, but I'm just thinking about the kids and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm like thinking to myself, wow, I have my opinions about what is right and wrong and what's good about the Chinese and what's bad about the Chinese and the government and all that. But when it comes to shooting the footage and the photos, I don't want to get biased like that. And I don't ever want to be like that, because I think that destroys your credibility. So to me, it was like, oh, I don't want to hurt the kids. Well, neither do I. I don't want to hurt any kid. So what's the problem? I don't want to hurt any kid. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. For what? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Now, if they're grabbing my equipment and shoving me around, telling me not to take photos, and they're not a cop, then what authority do they have? You know what I'm saying? So it was, I didn't want to look at it because I didn't know exactly how everything came off, but I didn't particularly like what happened. And I don't think, and Simon was going, hey, man, there's hundreds of photos out. There's many cameras out here. What are you talking about? And it's not, he's a participant now. He's not just a journalist. So, and, and while I personally believe that the protesters, they're protesting for a good reason, I also think that there are two sides to every story, and that there are some things that they've done that weren't very intelligent and that may have set them back, and also that people slam China for things, a lot of which I would say are probably true, and some of which are undeserved. Just like, you go somewhere and people go, oh, you're an American. They've already have these preconceived notions about you, or whoever else that's an American in the area. So I wanted to talk about that. Now, as far as Hong Kong goes, to be honest, I'm glad I'm gone from there for now. I needed a break. 2.5 months running back and forth, feeling like a ping pong ball, wondering if the cops were going to pepper spray me or smack me, or I got to watch some kid getting the crap beat out of him by 5 guys, or I was going to get hit with a tear gas canister and, it's going to sear into my skin or something. I mean, is my mask going to last? Is it going to hold up? And fortunately, I did get a mask in the end. I have a halfway decent mask. I still want a full face mask, because then you don't have to worry about the goggles, putting the goggles on. And the goggles I have, quite frankly, are shit. They're barely worthwhile to use. But if you put them on and they protect you from being sprayed in the eyes with pepper spray, then that's a good thing. Now, before I forget, because I'll go back into Hong Kong a little bit, and then I want to move on to Bangkok, to wherever else I decide to cover, to go, whatever. But the very kind Beyond Trinity sent me this. Now, if you don't know what this is a tortilla chip, and it's only one chip. One chip. It's the one chip challenge. Fear the Carolina Reaper. It's made with the Carolina Reaper pepper, created for the sheer pleasure of intense heat and pain. What to expect: mouth on fire, short-term loss of speech, impaired vision from tears, extreme profanity, rest in peace. How to enter the one chip challenge if you dare. Try it. See how long you can last without reaching for milk or ice cream. Don't say we didn't warn you. Prove it. Take a video of your attempt to survive the one chip challenge. Now, video or live stream? Which one should it be? The chip and coffin, which is this, must be in view. Post it. So you got to tag at Pacquiao Chips on your Instagram feed or Twitter and include one chip challenge and sweeps to be added to the Pacquiao wall of infamy at Pacquiao. Your profile must be public. Okay. Now, I don't even really want to. This is it right here. It's one tortilla chip. That's it. Maybe some of you know about this. I didn't know anything about this. I had no idea that they made this. Didn't know anything about it. And so they have their whole line of products here. They've got the mucho nacho cheese, zesty salsa verde, jalapeno tropical, fiery chili limon, and the haunted ghost pepper, which is supposed to be about a tenth of the heat as this particular one. And then it says here, any last words? The Reaper is waiting. Well, has anybody here had this? It says, eat at your own risk, not for the faint of heart. Not everyone will enjoy the extreme heat. Do not eat if you are sensitive to spicy foods, allergic to peppers, nightshades, or capsaicin, or are pregnant or have any medical conditions. Keep out of reach of children. After touching the chip, wash your hands with soap and do not touch your eyes or other sensitive areas, like your nuts. Sorry, Manscaped won't help you there. Seek medical assistance should you experience difficulty breathing. If you can't handle the heat, try drinking milk or eating ice cream. Fear the Reaper and consider yourself warned. After this, hell should be easy. Earn your spot on Pacquiao's wall of infamy. 20 calories. I've heard it tastes like a little bit like cardboard or like a bad chip that has a lot of spices on it. It's one deadly black tortilla chip. So, since I came back from since the third trip in Hong Kong, my stomach hasn't been real well. Yeah, if you know what that means. I'm not going to get into it in detail, but my stomach has not been so good. And it's just starting to come back now. I'm just starting to feel better and, not have to run to the toilet every hour or two. And I think I will eat this because my attitude is that if other people on YouTube will eat it, then I should eat it. Because if they can do it, then I should be able to do it. I'm probably not going to like it. I may not enjoy it. And, last night I cooked up an omelet for dinner. I didn't feel like making anything. The kids already had their food set up. And I was going to cook something for myself, so I just thought I'll just throw together an omelet. And I had noticed that in this very cup, my wife had thrown a handful of chili peppers. And I said to her, what are you putting them in the glass for? If I drink a glass of water in there, I'm probably going to feel the chili pepper. So I dumped them out, put them in another little plastic thing, and washed it out real nice. And then I thought, hey, you know what? Let's see how my stomach does with some chilies. So I got 4 chilies out, chopped them up, so the seeds came out and everything, and threw it all in with the omelet, and there was no problem, not at all. But that's not one of the spicier Thai dishes or spicier dishes. The spiciest food that I've ever had in Thailand has either been, let me think here. What is it? The papaya salad. I'm blanking out. But I've had yum won sen, and because of the onions in that, mixed with the spices, the chili, I find that to be extremely hot. But not in a painful way and not in a real negative way. It's just real. It gets your nose running a little bit, and that's about it. Sometimes. Some of that is also very, very spicy. But like the other day, I was in Hong Kong with my friend, and we had a meal at a Pakistani restaurant, a curry, and they asked, "Do you want it spicy, super spicy, extra super spicy, extremely super spicy?" You know, they had like 5 levels. I said, "Give me the spiciest one," and it didn't really affect me. I was like, "This is not that spicy," and I'm like, okay, that's good. But I didn't know I had this. This strikes a little bit of fear in me, I'll be honest. Because it can give you stomach cramps. It burns on the way out, not only on the way in, and it's intense. And I'm gonna prepare myself. One day when I'm feeling good, which should be in the next week or so, I'm feeling good, and I'm going to maybe I'll put a video out. Well, this you can consider the stream as the prequel. Sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to eat this chip. I believe it'll be live on a stream. I think that's the best way to do it. Because if you do it on a video, then I can always go back and edit stuff out, and people be like, "Oh, well, he edited that. He acted like it wasn't that hot and blah, blah, blah." Nah, I'm not going to put it in an omelet. Well, there's a bunch of guys on Jackass, and I'm sure they would do it. I guarantee you they would do it. Steve-O and, Johnny Knoxville, all those guys would do it. I'm sure they would do it because, it would make for good TV if they all sat around and ate this. And supposedly, last year's was very hot. They've made it hotter than last year. I mean, I am worried. I'll be honest. However, if anybody has ever eaten niacin tablets, that can be pretty intense too. Your whole body gets hot. You sweat. Your face burns. I didn't particularly like the niacin, but I took it. I took the tablets a couple times. I already did my research. I already know what the deal is with it. I've already watched a couple little short videos. I know Shaq ate this. And he was like, "Oh, well, it's not that bad." And then it started coming on, and then he had to run and go. I don't know what he was doing. He had to go run and get some milk or something to drink or something. But you don't want to drink water with it. So, sometime in the near future, I think that, I'm willing to do a lot of things for this stream and for this channel. And one of them is eating a spicy tortilla chip. It's not quite getting shot at, but it's intense nevertheless. So, anyway, but getting back to Hong Kong. I've had several conversations since I came back with people about this. Most people are of the opinion that Hong Kong cannot and will not win. I'm always hesitant to say somebody or something or some group can't win, because then you're basically giving up. But I do think they have a long road ahead of them. I don't think that this is going to be squelched and resolved in the next month or 2 or 6 months. I think this is going to be an ongoing conflict that has its peaks and valleys, and it's like a roller coaster. And there may be one little win for the protesters, and then one little win for the government, Hong Kong government, and then I don't know. How do you think they're winning, Gennaro? Because what I think is Right now, what they're doing is they're out in the public. I'll give them that. They're out in the public, and the world knows about the situation now, and they have brought to attention the fact that the Chinese um, are huge and they're taking over much of the world, and their influence can be felt everywhere. Um, and there are a lot of negatives. Like I saw a guy today who I respect quite a bit talking about the Uyghurs and how the truth needs to come out about them, and people really need to know what's going on there, and China needs to stop what they're doing. I don't think that you should hold people in camps, whether they're for re-education or for whatever else it is, against their will. I think, and this is a question, is it going to become a war? Or is it going to be something that's an ongoing conflict, like, in the Middle East, there's all these conflicts. Israel, there's the conflict with them. The Israelis always have conflicts with people. All these different areas of the world where there are constant battles that go on, and it may be quiet for a number of years, and then they come back, and one person does something that pisses off the other side, boom, it's back on 100%. I think that's what's going to happen. And as I was saying yesterday, I don't know if in the next, say, 20 years, if I'll be alive. That would make me 77. I may be alive, maybe not. But if I am, will anything happen in those 20 years that, like China becomes the world power, and they're forcing communism into certain countries? It could happen. I don't know, but I know that if there's a World War III, the likelihood of that, it will be China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and maybe some other smaller countries against the United States and the rest of the world. And that's not a good situation for anybody. The problem is there are always conflicts in the world, and there always have been. Well, you say that, but China's been around for a long time. Now, on the plus side, China has a lot of problems. And is China really fully communist? Or is it more like socialist mixed with communism? I don't really know how. Again, I don't really have the expertise. I mean, I know what I know right now because I've been following this for the last 10 weeks. Actually, it's almost 11 weeks now. It's almost 3 months. And before that, to be honest, and even now, I really don't care about all these conflicts. I care about it because if I think it's something that's really important, I'd like to document it with a camera, whether it's video or stills. Yeah, I like that. I've always liked that. But when it comes down to the actual politics, if it was me, I'd be like, I'd pull a Rodney King. Can't we all just get along? Let's figure something out. Let's win-win, baby. But it's not that simple. People don't want win-win. They want I win, you lose. It's my way or the highway. And I understand that too, but it doesn't make it right. And China has the manpower that in the long run, they're going to be hard to stop. They're going to be hard to stop, So I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody else knows what's going to happen. One of the things I'm working on is I have some people that are answering quite a few questions that I put out. It's, I don't know, about 20 questions about the situation in Hong Kong and with China. And I'll get a half a dozen, maybe 8, maybe more. I don't know. It depends on the final size of everything. But I want to know what other people think that are involved in it or that have been involved and they actually know the scene. Uh, Not just people looking from the outside. Because it's kind of easy to say, oh, and I've heard several people who just they're talking out their ass. And they say, oh, those protesters, they've got it so good there and they're bitching and moaning. Well, it's like kind of like with China. If you grow up as a little kid under communist China, all you know is what they allow you to know and what you're able to gather yourself. That's all you know. So if you grow up in Hong Kong and all you know is a certain way of life, and it's all of a sudden somebody's coming in going, no, you don't have this anymore. You don't have these freedoms. You don't have this. You don't have that. You're kind of like, hey, what the hell's going on? No, no, no. And it's easy. It's like the little dog and the big dog. The little dog will go after the big dog because he doesn't really know that, hey, this big dog is bigger than me. He thinks, hey, I'm not putting up with this. And then the little dog gets grabbed by the neck by the big dog and gets thrown around. And that's kind of what China can do to Hong Kong if they really want. Now, whether other countries react and do anything that matters is another story. I don't know that anybody wants, I think it's more along the lines of this is the biggest dude on the street. And while, yeah, maybe the second biggest dude might be able to take him, and he and his buddies can take the biggest dude and his buddies, maybe they can take him, but they'd rather get along with him so that they don't have to go at it and they don't have to get hurt. Because they know, usually in a fight, either one person gets hurt, seriously, they get the shit beat out of them, or both people end up taking a beating. They get hurt. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be, do you really want to respond in a forceful, aggressive way, militarily, or do you want to get along? And that's why this trade agreement, and I haven't been following it, haven't been following the impeachment, aside from, the Democrats want to push forward with it. I don't know really anything what's going on because I've kept my head in the sand and I've only been thinking about Hong Kong for really the last 3 months. And I came back, on Monday? Was it Monday? Sunday night. I think Monday I did the stream. Or no, Monday did the stream, whatever. The day after, I did absolutely nothing. Yesterday I had a few things to do, and then someone needed a little bit of help with some paperwork and stuff. So I helped them. That took up a couple hours. Then, it's like, I get home and it's like there's things to do. Kids are getting home. They need help with this. They need help with that. And then, before I know it, I'm like, man, it's 9:30 at night. I didn't do really anything I wanted to do today. So now I'm starting to get my head on straight again. There's a few things I need to do in the next couple of days. But one of the things that I've been thinking about is that I need to do more in Thailand since I do live here. But also I can do some things in Thailand while I'm here. I think it's a wise thing to do. One of them is, and I know this may sound odd, but after coming from Hong Kong, but I've been wanting to do it for a while, and with like Jono and maybe Chris and a couple other people, you have somebody with you every time you go to a place. You go to burger joints, supposedly the best 10, 20 burger joints in Bangkok. You go with somebody, you rate it, then you go to the next place. So like once a week you have a burger thing. That's just a short video. And it shows the burgers, whatever. And then, people get an idea of what to expect when they come to Bangkok and they want to go have a good burger. I don't know. That's on my mind. I don't think I'll be doing any anal bleaching videos. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's a lot of women that want you to see their butt crack and watching it be bleached. As entertaining as that might be, I don't think it's going to happen. Now, maybe if I had a little more clout, a little more, I had a production team or something that could do all the work for me, figure all this stuff out and get it all lined up, then maybe I would do it. I don't know. I don't know why. It's a disgusting subject, if you ask me. But so that's something else. And then there's the usual going around from here to here, here to there. Um, and I'm gonna start walking again, except I'll walk in my boots so that my feet don't hurt. That should help. Maybe I'll do a couple long walks. And then it's Christmas time. So maybe I'll do something about Christmas. I don't know. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But I have been thinking about the whole Christmas angle and what does a Christmas look like. Oh, that's a good idea, Gennaro. That's a real good idea. Although they're not as apt to want to be online anymore in front of the camera because they have their own lives now. They have their own stuff to do. It's not like they're just sitting downstairs doing nothing. They've always got something to do. Nicholas is at school or he's studying or he's got a project and he's going to go meet his friends. He's got music. He's still playing piano or keyboards. He's always got stuff to do. Alex is, Mr. Fitness now. He's always working out. He's always playing guitar and he's always at school. He's actually going to school today, even though he has the day, he's off for like 2 weeks. He's going to school to talk to one of his old teachers because he's going to start tutoring kids. Oh, with the boys. Oh, I thought you meant my boys. Anyway, he's going to start tutoring kids in English. So he makes a little money and he helps the people out that need some help. So I think that's good. I have to see. There's a group of people coming over here. Longhorns is supposed to come over here. I think Dre is coming over here. There's even a chance Gennaro might come over here. Obviously, Soy Dog Cowboy is already here. I know he'd love to have some people come visit and hang out with him down in Pattaya. There's some stuff to do. But I have been thinking about a few places. I said Turkey, and I do like that idea. I do like the idea of going to Turkey to photograph a project. I think he's supposed to land on January 24th. So I know from past experience that it takes him a day or 2 or 3 to get in the groove enough to where he wants to hang out with people or, whatever. But he'll be here at the end of January. But I am thinking about Turkey. I don't really want to go back to Bangladesh quite yet, although I'd like to go to Cox's Bazar with the Rohingya, where the Rohingya are located. And I still would like to go to Myanmar, and do a project there, do something there. But I really want to do it, with Hong Kong, it's kind of difficult because with Hong Kong, it was difficult because you got people shooting at you. You got cops in front of you who don't want you shooting. They don't want you filming them. They don't want you shooting photographs of them a lot of times. Not always. At the end, it was much easier. Much, much easier. It was not an ordeal. But in the beginning, when they would shine the lights in you, where they would tell you, don't take photos of me, and, that kind of thing, that wasn't so easy. When you're wondering if they're going to spray you with the water cannon, your gear is going to get ruined. There's a lot of things like that make it difficult to, to film. And I think wherever I go this next time, I'm bringing my tripod. And I'm going to actually have to do things like, do a storyboard of what I want. Just a real, stick man kind of storyboard. Figure everything out and maybe get some help with my buddy, 1 or 2 of my buddies who make documentaries and try to do something pretty good. I did put something up in the members section and in the Patreon sites. I did put a short video up. It's just a rough cut. And I say it's a rough cut because I wanted to get something up And it just gives an idea of what happened the night when the people were stabbed by the one guy who bit the ear off of this councilman, this pro-democracy councilman, Andrew Chew. So that's up, and eventually that will go up on YouTube once I whittle it down and figure everything out. And it was very, very dark there. The lighting was pretty piss poor, so it was a bit difficult to film everything. But I will put something else up on YouTube, and I have a bunch of things planned. So there's a lot to do, and I'm hoping that it comes together. Like always, I get 10 ideas, and if I get one of them that works, then that's fine. But I always come up with all these ideas, and then, and I'm usually just talking to myself, just trying to figure it out. Can I do this? Okay, Turkey's a good place because, first of all, Turkey, there's always the border. And also it's a place that I know very little about, which means I would have to get to the core of it right away. And I would have to talk to some of my friends who have been there and who know the place quite well, and some other journalists that know, photojournalists that know the place quite well. And then I have to figure something out, a theme to stick to. So there's a lot that could be done, and it's only $600 to fly round trip, which is not a huge amount. Thank you very much, Gennaro. Appreciate it. You are the first of the day. Well, Ian, I have an exit plan for everywhere that I go. I mean, seriously. That's the thing about it. When I look at it, I don't look at it quite the same as a lot of people. I don't look at it like, where can I go and have a drink and, stick my toes in the sand and relax and chill out? Man, it's work. I mean, Hong Kong, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go to any tourist attractions. None. And I came close to going to the Victoria Peak. And I just didn't do it because I didn't have time. You wake up in the morning and it's like sometimes you're out until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I wake up at 7 and I'm like, oh man, I got to get some of this stuff done. Are my batteries all charged? Is this done? Is that? You got no time to go out. So, I try to research stuff fairly well. And now... Yeah. Oh, well, thank you very much, Gennaro. Yeah. Contributions to my cremation after I eat this chip would be greatly appreciated. I hope I can handle that, man. Whew. My only concern is that I'm sitting here and all of a sudden something explodes. Comes out the rear end, and there's no, once it's done and seen, and it's done and seen, and it's happened, and I really don't want that to happen. I don't mind if I'm sweating and I'm dripping out of my nose and all that. I don't care about that stuff. That doesn't matter. The pain, of course, I'm not looking at it like, oh, I'm going to love it if it hurts so much. But the pain is temporary. It goes away. Chili claws. Okay. I'll have to check that out. So there's a lot of things happening and a lot of things. I actually thought about going to Israel and trying to go to like Gaza. I don't know how feasible that is though, and how worthwhile it is. Turkey to me is a worthwhile place. Even the Ukraine is a worthwhile place to me. Thailand, there are still some things that I can do here, and I'm looking into them, and I don't want to say much. I already talked about Vietnam and how Vietnam, this guy John turned me on to this place in Vietnam, where I could do a project with kids, which would be kind of cool. It's more of a feel-good thing as opposed to a, adrenaline dump. I'm getting shot at, and then, oh, wow, nothing's going on. I'm going to sit here. And it's definitely different than that. And I'm contacting some NGOs to try to get in with them. I know there's one or two that I have a decent shot at, so who knows what will happen. But on a positive note, on another positive note for me, My buddy wrote me yesterday. You know, we've been trying to get into this gallery, this pop up gallery thing that they have, um, and trying to get started with that. And it's been a hassle to deal with everything and get everything lined up. And it's been work for him, not so much for me. I mean, you know, I just go out and shoot. But I got a message yesterday, and supposedly in 30 to 60 days it'll happen. Again, you know, who knows if that's when it'll be. But I actually got a message from the people renting the place out, the people looking for the place actually. This woman who is looking for the area for them to have a pop up, because they do these pop up galleries. So I'm waiting to see if that happens, and if that happens, hopefully that'll mean, you know, more money, and more money means I get to go places that I want to photograph, and that's, you know, what it's all about for me, photographing and trying to get better at videography. I do have the Final Cut Pro now, so I'm squared away with that. There's two programs I need. One is Photo Mechanic and or ACDC, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there right now. I haven't heard much about it. You know, I mean, like I said, the part of the problem is that you start looking into stuff, and by the time you've thought, okay, I'm going to go there, it's over. You know, most protests don't last for 6 months. Now, a conflict, that's a little different. And I have to be careful that I don't bite off more than I can chew, because I am a little older, and I don't feel like dying if at all possible. You know, I'd rather not. I'd rather stay alive. But while I like doing things like a burger challenge, a burger, you know, what do you call it? Like, you know, a burger off, something like that, to find the best burger. That's not going to keep me motivated for years, you know, doing that kind of thing. It's not. And I need to stay motivated and, you know, to stay young. So anyway, the gallery thing, hopefully that'll happen in February, and it looks like it's going to be in Newport Beach, which is a great location. And the people really like the photographs that he's had them look at and what they printed out. So I'm hoping that everything works out. But in the interim, I'm working on some postcards from Hong Kong. I don't know if a lot of people like postcards. They should be ready in early February. If you're interested, you get 6 of them for $15 plus, I think it's $5 for shipping, and then you get 24, which is a set of 6, and you get 4 of each for $40 plus $5 shipping. And then I still have 6x9 prints, signed prints, 6x9. Signed. $100, including shipping, and 10 by 15 that are $150 plus shipping. So if you hurry, you might still be able to get them by Christmas. You know how that works. It could take 3 days to get there, or it could take a month. You know, around Christmas time, you never know. But like I said, Hong Kong, for me, I don't want to say it's completely finished when it comes to my dealing with Hong Kong, because I really like the place a lot. It's one of my favorite places. I love how they have their act together there, and I like the people. I really like the place. But when it comes to reporting there, and it was so funny because I was talking to a guy the other day, and I've talked to him off and on for last month and a half, and he said to me, you know, I have to leave. And I was like, what do you mean you got to leave? He goes, well, you know, I can't, there's nothing I can sell here. He's like, what am I going to sell? The people standing there, you know, singing. And this goes back to what I've been saying. And unfortunately, what is good for the photographer and for media is bad for the country, or bad for Hong Kong, rather, the state. And so that's where I'm at with it. It's good that it's peaceful there. Um, it's good that it seems like the police have backed off a bit. This is my final analysis. It's good that they seem to have backed off a little bit. However, there is still that underlying current of that underlying distaste in a large number of Hong Kongers. They don't trust the police. They're not going to trust the police. They absolutely despise the police. That's why everywhere you go, you can find a sign that says "fuck the popo," uh, which I find kind of funny that they call him the popo. It's amazing what an influence the United States has in Hong Kong. And one of the questions that I have is why have the Brits not done much of anything at all to help them? Haven't done anything. What are they doing? Aside from making one or two comments or whatever, I can't think of anything else that they've done to help Hong Kong figure out their situation. And part of the issue is that militarily, I don't think they have, their chances. They need a miracle, even if it is some kind of a world war. I don't think that that's going to happen over Hong Kong. So then what? Well, then you negotiate. I think it was 1997, not 1999. We lost control. If they negotiate, it seems to me that the Chinese have this reputation of never following through with their promises. And I will hearken back to the one woman who said to me, all we don't want our independence. We may need our independence, but right now what we want is, we don't want our independence. What we want is, we want one country, two systems. We want them to abide by the agreement. And then when it comes to 2047, we'll work things out then. But they need to abide by the agreement. We've done our part. Why haven't they done theirs? And if you think about it that way, then you kind of understand that they're not just these people who are going out willy-nilly and smashing the Bank of China, smashing in their windows, starting fires in the middle of the streets. There are reasons why they are doing these things, and it's because it's a last resort for them. They don't know what else to do. Politically, the United States can say things that, okay, maybe it helps a little bit, but bottom line is, it's just another way of saying to China, you need to behave, or else. And at the end of the day, it's like, what are you going to do? You tell your kid not to do something, and in the old days, you give him a smack. Hey, you do that, you do that again, I'm going to give you a smack. And then the kid mouths off, and you give him a smack, right? Well, guess what? What are you going to do? And he mouths off again. What are you going to do? You're going to start beating him up? There's only so much you can do. You know what I mean? So, and that's a poor example, but, it's a very, it's in your face. It's relatable. In the old days when people, that's another thing. And, I think Crimea, it's a write-off. It's a done deal. It's Russia's. I would like to go to Ukraine and Crimea. Yeah, that's someplace that I've wanted to go. And I've heard stories from both sides. How without Russia, the Ukraine has nothing. We don't want to be Ukrainian. We want to be Russian. And then you got Ukrainians that are there that are going, what are you talking about? We want to be Ukrainians, Well, there's nothing wrong with them looking for angles to further their agenda. The United States does that. Most countries do that. However, it's the shadiness, the underhandedness, the manner in which they do things. I think that pisses people off because there needs to be some decorum that people abide by in the world in general. And I think that they probably are viewed by many people outside of the world as a country that doesn't do this. Their attitude is fuck you. We'll do whatever we want. And I gotta say that some of the people that I met that were pro Beijingers, there was one guy in particular that I talked to. Now this guy was not going to talk to me online, on the air, or, on video. He wasn't going to talk to me, but he did talk to me privately, and he was saying, "Hey, listen, these people need to understand. Hong Kong is part of China. It's the way it is. They're part of China. Now, you could say, okay, well, they weren't. Yeah, but you made a deal, and now they're part of China. They need to listen to China. Okay, but now what about the one country, two systems? Yes, okay, they can have their system, but they need to understand that we are the ultimate authority. No, you're not supposed to be the ultimate authority. That comes from their country, their system, rather. So, and then the rest of the people that I talked to were the kind of people that they did not even want to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Entertain. They did not want to entertain any thoughts that maybe the Hong Kongers had a point or had their points. They did not want to even consider these things. In their eyes, screw you. You're Chinese. You need to abide by the Communist Party. You need to be Chinese 100%, which means doing what the country wants you to do. And they're like, wait a minute, so I can't think for myself, I can't speak for myself. They're like, you're a fucking idiot. That's what they were telling the people. And then the pro-Beijingers get pissed off and they start fighting back and forth. And, then there's the thing, if you look at it like a relationship between a man and a woman, and you got the friend standing by watching the man and the woman fight, is it good to try to mediate and get in the middle of it? I don't think so. Especially with relationships. But, relationships between countries, it's still a relationship. So sometimes it's better to keep your nose out of their business, and let them deal with them themselves. Because, what happens inevitably, it's like some guy is beating up a girl on the side of the road. You stop, you smack the guy, you knock him out, and then the girl's pissed off at you. She's angry at you, and she's hitting you. I mean, how many times does that happen? You hear stories about this stuff all the time. Well, sometimes I think it's better. You just, let it go. Let it, what happened, happen. And, where are the British? Where are the British now? If they want to do anything, then it's their business to get involved. Yeah, I've seen it happen too. Hasn't been for a long time. I mean, in Thailand, it's like, unless somebody's killing the person, then it's like, you don't know what's going on, They could both stab you, so. But anyway, that's what I think. I feel bad for the newest generation there. And then, like I said, there was the one girl with her friend. They strolled up and they were shit-faced. One was shit-faced and one was a little better off. And they were talking about it, and, the girl started crying when she was talking about how Hong Kong was going to become. Yeah, I thought it was Special Autonomous Region. I always get that mixed up. But I always mix them up, forget. But, the thing is that if you look at it and it's like, hey, you know what? Sometimes it's better that you don't do anything. Now, I'm not saying in this case, but sometimes in certain situations, it's better, Well, I mean, I understand that, but you guys were the ones who were involved with them, and I guess it's a good thing. You're, in my opinion, maybe it is a good thing because you're going, hey, why should we get involved? We made the deal. If this is between the Hong Kongers and the Chinese government. What are we going to do? What can we do? It's their disagreement. But it's the human rights violations. It's all these kind of things. And then it comes down to, it's like there's only so much that people can take. And I went over this the other day. People can only handle so much news, so much negativity, so much, 48 people were killed today. Hey, now on to you, Chet, for the weather. People can only handle that so long. And I mean, I'll be honest, I get sick of it. And to be completely honest, the last trip in Hong Kong, it was kind of like, man, I can't wait to get back home. I want to get this done. I want to do it. And, it's not that I feel any less for the people there or anything, but I want to get back home. And the reason that I'm saying that, this is the final analysis is because I was thinking about it yesterday and the day before, and I'm like, man, I have a hard time getting it out of my head. It's stuck with me. And what other photographers and photojournalists have talked to me about is that they're the same way. It takes them several days, even several weeks, to get past it and to not to forget, but to get it out of their head where they can move on and think about other things and like one thing I did the other day with the family when they were home, which was I guess yesterday. No, it was the night before. It was Tuesday night. We all were talking about Christmas movies and Christmas. And we made a list up of 20 Christmas movies. And we were like, okay, what we'll do is we'll write them all down and we'll pair them off and we'll say which one is better and that one will advance. Okay, which one is better out of these and that one will advance. So we're going to have to watch 20 Christmas movies over the Christmas holidays. And we'll come down to which is the family favorite for Christmas movies. We're going to get down to 1 out of 20. And I thought, wow, that was a pretty good idea. And we sat around the other day. We watched Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. I think Monday night we watched Home Alone 1. Tuesday night we watched Home Alone 2. Last night we didn't watch anything. And so, I'm trying to, spend more time with the kids and the wife and I still haven't put everything away from the trip. I've unpacked everything, but it's like laying on the floor here. Yeah, I mean, it's like I got stuff laying here. I don't even know where stuff is. And I've got errands to run and things to do and, videos to put up and things to figure out. So I can't concentrate on Hong Kong all the time, And I consider myself fortunate, and I've said this many times before, but I consider myself fortunate because I get to leave. Those people there don't get to leave. And some of them, they're like, some of the older people are like, I'll be dead before anything happens. It doesn't matter. They don't care. They're 80 years old. They're like, big deal. But the younger people are worried. They are definitely worried, and they're pissed off. They don't like the way that the direction that Hong Kong is going. And so, they fight on. And that's it. They keep fighting in whatever manner they can. Whatever way they can make they would do things to keep, they put out a box, like a cake box with some wires coming out of it, just to get, it's on the list. It's on the list, just to get the police to come out and take up resources. They would do that. Because then that way they could do something somewhere else and there weren't as many police in the area because they were concentrating on the cake bomb or whatever, Die Hard is on the list. Die Hard's on the list. The Grinch is on the list. Scrooged, Elf, Bad Santa, Home Alone 1 and 2. Many, many movies are on. There's 20 movies on the list. I don't know where my list is. It's over there somewhere on the floor. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of movies for us to watch. Maybe that's what we know. We watched Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. Now, Home Alone 1 was very good. I thought it was good. And I can watch it years later and it still makes me laugh. Home Alone 2 was a little bit slower, and knowing about Home Alone 1, you're like, oh yeah, come on. The kids, it's gonna happen again. Kid's gonna be alone again. But some of the things that they did were really funny in it, and we voted. Uh, well, I kind of was leaning towards Home Alone 1, and I was like, man, I don't know, Home Alone 2. I couldn't make up my mind. And then Alex and Nicholas and Bo, they all said the same thing. Home Alone 2 was better than Home Alone 1. And I was like, yeah, all right, I can give it. So 4-0 for Home Alone 2. So Home Alone 2 advances, Home Alone 1 drops off, and then we go to the next two movies, which I don't know what they are, but I'll have to look. And we'll probably watch those tomorrow night. So, exciting stuff going on here. Not quite as exciting as getting shot at or getting pepper sprayed, but I'll take it. You know? So, anyway, I think that's all I got for now. I don't want to keep rambling. I don't want to talk about nothing, even though, because it's supposed to be a show about a little something, not just nothing. Um, I did see that on YouTube. I will say this before closing out. I did see that YouTube is taking a more aggressive approach to those people who are, well, basically trolls. Let me see if I can find it here. How come it doesn't come up? YouTube blog. Oh, here we go. Official YouTube blog. An update to our harassment policy. A stronger stance against threats and personal attacks, consequences for a pattern of harassing behavior. What else? Addressing toxic comments. I'm always apprehensive about believing YouTube and what they're going to do and everything. It does take time. They've got a lot of things happening. I don't know how it's going to affect me, but there's always Vimeo and there's always Facebook. There's always other ways, but I don't think it'll affect me really all that much. It's certainly not going to affect me financially. That's on the list, Gennaro. Ha ha. I know that's on the list because I picked that one. But anyway, I think I'm going to close out on a good note, a positive note. It's a lovely day here in Bangkok. I've got to go get Alex some fruit. Big day for me. I've got a lot of stuff to do online. I'm waiting to get some questions back from people. Yeah, you should start seeing some stuff in Patreon and on the website and on YouTube, some videos and stuff like that in the next couple of days. But in Patreon and the member site, you should see something already, and you should see some more things today and tomorrow. Please click like, please click share. I'm gonna change around quite a few things. The first thing is there's no more forum on my website. It's gone. There's just not enough participation. There was some good participation every once in a while, but it's not enough for me to pay $250 a year. So it's gone. And you'll see the site's going to change a little bit. Everything's going to be the same for the members, but everything else is going to be changed. The Patreon's going to change. It's a new year. I need to wipe out a few things, come up with some different things. Yeah. change, more change. Um, and I'm anxious to see how my. Thank you very much, Mitch. I'm anxious to see about the photos that I churn out, and I've got some video clips that are up for sale commercially. I'm anxious to see how those. Some of the better clips. Some of the stuff I shot was garbage, and most of that's been thrown away. But um, I'm anxious to see how those come out. I'm anxious to see where I go next. I'm anxious to see about the gallery. I'm anxious to see about the postcards and the prints and all this other stuff that I've been working on. And I'm anxious to take a nice little break over the Christmas holidays. So I hope everybody has a happy holiday. I should be streaming again on Sunday or maybe Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. Depends on if I'm going to eat the, I don't know, Longhorns, if you've ever tried this. It's the Pacquiao One Chip Challenge. The tortilla chip from hell. Fear the Carolina Reaper. If you'd like, I'll save it for you until you come over so you can have it. But otherwise, I may eat it myself and just endure the agony. So that's coming up, you know. Anyway, I think that's all I got. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the help, the support, the views, yada, yada, yada. Stay tuned. And until next time, bye-bye. And chok di leo jerken mai, which is good luck, and until next time. All right, see ya.